Yesterday's bombshell ruling for immigration had this line in it people are reading from Clarence Thomas, which is a big deal. So Clarence Thomas said that aliens have no equal protection rights against the federal government. That is a big flippin' deal, guys, that he wrote this in there. Because one of the things that Democrats have been trying to do is give the immigrants, the illegals, due process and all these other rights. And Clarence Thomas just finally blew that apart. And this is important for a number of reasons. As Edward Winslow writes here, let me tell you what courts can't stop it means when SCOTUS says it, because I'm sure most people don't know. In other words, what the ruling from SCOTUS did on TPS and in the immigration stuff, it completely opened it up for the executive branch to do what it needs to do based on current immigration law. And now this stuff can't be challenged the way they wrote it. This is big because it's going to keep those activist judges out. So it says the Ninth Circuit's done. For years, the Ninth Circuit blocked every TPS termination, every metering policy, every turnback order. Judges in San Fran, D.C. issued injunctions. Same week, DHS tried to enforce anything. That was a strategy, not the law. Injunctions. On June 25th, SCOTUS ruled 6-3, same day, same margin both times. Case 1, federal courts can't review TPS termination. Case 2, if you're standing in Mexico, you haven't arrived in the United States. So you have no right to apply, no mandatory inspection, no foothold. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. 350,000 Haitian holders are now in deportation proceedings with no court able to pause it. That's a big deal. Every asylum seeker at every port of entry along 2,000 miles of border is now legally turnable before they take one step onto our soil. This policy was blocked for nearly a decade. Now it's back. It's the same playbook ended in 1954 when the court gave executive branch back its immigration authority and took 30 years of litigation to get there. This is a big deal. Here's a little breakdown.
And the Supreme Court out with another decision, this time regarding the fate of certain migrants living with temporary protected status. There are a bunch of them, and Shannon Bream joins us again with more. Shannon, how do we read this one?
Okay, so Dana, we read it as a win for the Trump administration, which has wanted to wipe out temporary protected status for more than 1 million people who are living here in this country. These cases centered on a number of Haitian and Syrian refugees who were here in the country. And basically what the court has said is that they can't challenge this decision by the Department of Homeland Security, by the administration, that they're the ones who get to make the assessment about whether they leave or not. I haven't read the whole thing, but they do get into some of the claims that by some of those who are advocating for the Haitian refugees, that there was some kind of racial animus. The court says they don't see evidence of that. So I'll keep reading, but it's another very fractured decision that seems to be a win for the Trump administration, which would be the second win for them on immigration. That earlier decision that we talked about that came out just a few minutes ago saying that if you get to the Mexico border, but you don't make it onto U.S. soil, you can't file an asylum claim. So the Trump administration has to be happy about what they've gotten today. We've still got 8 opinions left, and it looks like Monday will be our next opinion day.
We are going to get some big ones next week. But now Trump's entire immigration push is almost completely validated by the Supreme Court at this point. That's massive. And check this out. Bill Malugin says, I asked DHS General Counsel James Percival if DHS will allow a grace period for the 300,000 Haitians having their TPS terminated, or will arrests and deportations begin immediately? And he said, it's closing time. They don't have to go, but they can't stay. I love it. He urged Haitians use the CBP Home Act, take advantage of the $2,600 payment to self-deport instead of going to an ICE arrest and detention. So, guys, we could clear these out immediately. It's a big flipping deal. Now, Trump is setting the record straight on some of this. Says it was just announced, and I'm not necessarily thrilled to be talking about it because it doesn't sound nice. Trump admitted the highest average daily arrest rate by ICE and CBP, including total detention with final orders of removal, than any president by far. Pending final orders are being seriously delayed by courts, so that's also a record. Trump has the highest 12-month removal total by far of any president. Now, I often hear people be like, no, Obama deported more. Well, that's simply not true. And The truth is that Obama counted as deportations people who were turned away at the border. That's just a fact. And Trump talks about this here. For all those who like to say Obama and his president and his vice Biden did as many criminal ICE removals as Trump, figures are just in. Number one, they included hundreds of thousands of people that never came close to our country. A difference of perhaps 50% in the numbers. We don't include such categories, but even if we did, ICE and CBP removed many more illegal aliens under Trump than Obama. It's not even close. And that's what we voted for, folks. That is definitely what we voted for. Now, Holman was giving a speech today, and he was talking about how this should be ramping up significantly going forward.
We had a record historic year with deportations, but now we got 10,000 more agents on board, or it should be on board by the end of next month. Wait till next year. We had a record.
Now we've got 10,000 more agents on board. Wait till next year. So what we've been watching is the Trump administration with its hands tied. They had less funding, fewer agents, and then they had all these nonstop attacks from activist judges, slowing them down, hampering them. The hands are untied now, fully funded. And even last year, when you could include deportations and self-deportations, we got rid of over 3 million. That's a big dent. Even if you believe there's 30 million, that's 10% in the first year with their hands tied. Things are about to ramp up. And a lot of people thought after Minnesota that the Trump administration backed off. We got all these PSYOP false narratives that they stopped mass deportations. Nope. Hasn't even come close to stopping. It's ramping up. And now we get to get rid of some of the worst of them that were here on the temporary protected status. Haitians, the Somalians, so many others. Wait till Minnesota gets cleared out. Ohio gets cleared out. We're going to see cities completely change. My gosh, the next 2.5 years, guys, we've never seen anything like this. We're in a new world. Nobody can tell me that we have we're going around the clock again. We're seeing what we've seen. This is the same old. It's just, that's so far away from true. It's crazy. And the Trump administration, we got through a little rough patch, right? Going back to last year, the shutdown and the Epstein file push, that was a big attack on the Trump administration. They got through it. Then the beginning of this year, we had the huge win with Venezuela, but then the whole Minnesota thing happened. Bad press for Trump. The people who died, the protesters, it just looked bad. Whether, what the truth was or not, people didn't care. It was pushed. People turned on the Trump administration. Then Iran, major PSYOP because of Iran. All the podcasters turned on him. Many people were like, I don't want war. What are we doing? Gas prices flew up. That's 7 months of sustained attacks on the presidency. And we got through it all. And now they don't know what to do. They're scrambling to find what's next. Because Epstein is pretty much over until the Trump administration says it's not. And in that case, it'll be on our side. The war stuff, done. Now we're accelerating in our economy. We got through the tough part. Not the only tough part. There'll still be battles. But that sustained effort was a big push to ruin Trump's presidency because they thought they could do this and get the midterms to be a blue wave. They failed. And now all these promises are coming true. We're seeing arrests. We're seeing deportations ramp up. We're seeing the economy turn around, seeing gas prices go back down. It's the good times are about to start. And I'm very excited for that. Doesn't mean there won't be issues, but all this is really good signs that promises are being kept and fulfilled. And that will ignite the people to be more excited for Trump, more excited for the MAGA base, pushing us into the midterms, and then in 2028 for big old wins. That's what we're looking at. Now, they're going after Markwayne Mullin for this, and it's just a good reminder for all those accelerationist people who think we should we should go back to Democrats just to teach Trump a lesson, just to fight back against Israel. Well, these are the same people who say, like, we need to arrest the Epstein people. Nobody's been in prison. And this is where I constantly say, if you guys focus on all that, you don't care about the kids, because this is what actually the kids that were mostly being affected.
When we stepped in here, we had 450,000 kids missing. 450,000 kids that were given to sponsors that weren't vetted. No home checks. No one was going by to see if they're where they're supposed to be, not even knowing if they were in their same state, not even to see if the sponsor was who they were at all. We've recovered 147,000, and all of them didn't have to be recovered. I'm not saying all of them had to be recovered. Some of them were where they were supposed to be. They were with a family member, and they appeared to be doing okay. But we've had some horrific cases. There's one that's kind of been out in the media a little bit, where there's a ring of several adults that were keeping kids in an underground bunker in a dungeon. And the most horrific things that I pray to God that you guys don't have to see, because it permanently changes you. The stuff that these adults put kids as young as 2 to as old as 12 through, you can't make a horror story that bad. We've had some young ladies that we have rescued that report, and these aren't young ladies; these are girls, being raped 600 to 700 times, being locked in a hotel room, and having to service 15 to 20 men. These are girls, and I hate to use the word service, but I don't know what other you can use. They were being raped 15 to 20 times a day, day after day after day after day after day. They didn't get holidays off. They didn't get nights off. They didn't work 8 to 5. They didn't work, Monday through Friday. They were locked in the room and highly drugged, and one male at a time, disgusting individuals coming in and raping these individuals. It is our mission. We've stood up and standing up even a bigger task force within DHS to go and find all 450,000 kids. It is my biggest passion that I have. And it should have, let me explain this too. Almost used a bad word there. What frustrates me the most is that this was preventable.
Yep.
And no one can argue that. This was 100% preventable. And we have perpetrators that are doing the most horrific things to kids. And as a father to 6, and 3 beautiful girls, when you see this, there's evil in the world. There's evil in the world. And we fed it. The Biden administration fed it for 4 years and took the innocent that's in my little girls' eyes, the innocence that's in our kids' eyes that we pray to God never has to deal with this. That innocent is permanently stolen. And we're trying to just restore some type of comfort to these young girls.
Tell me again how voting for Democrat or sitting out this midterm sends a message. Tell that to those kids. Tell that to the hundreds of thousands of kids abused, that are trafficked across the border because of City of London globalist Democrats, because of their policies. Tell me again how Epstein matters so much more, how it's the only issue that matters. Because what? Few girls, mostly of age, were taken advantage of by some gross guys, a few of them. Yeah, that's terrible. Absolutely. Bring justice. But we're talking about hundreds of thousands of children that the Trump administration has stopped being abused, finding them, ending hundreds of thousands more. That matters way more than Epstein. I'm sorry. It matters way more than the arrests. I'm sorry. It's just true. Can we get that other stuff? Absolutely. But the stuff that matters the most is happening now, and nobody wants to talk about it because it doesn't give you ratings. It makes the Trump administration look bad if you ignore this and focus on the other couple things. It's crazy. But guys, right now you vote Democrat, you vote for kids getting raped. I'm just going to say it. That's what you're choosing. You don't show up in the midterms. This is what you're allowing. This is what years of sitting out, and I don't care, and those are harsh words, but it's a fact. This happened on our watch. Christians who don't want to show up because we don't believe in influencing government, this is on you. It's on you. Everybody who doesn't get involved, once you know it, it's anybody who doesn't do something to stop this is a part of it. You're complicit. Hundreds of thousands of kids. And that's just in the last 5 years. Mostly under the Biden administration. Imagine what happened during the Obama administration we don't know about yet, or before that. All this is coming to life so we can handle it, so we can do something about it. But the Trump administration is doing far more good in the world than we've ever seen any other president in modern history do. Maybe in all of history do. And it's this kind of stuff, which is why I side and why I got Trump's back no matter what. And I'm not ashamed of that. We're going to win. We're going to keep winning because we're going to make sure every single person has to stare and hear this and think twice before voting communist again and taking us back. And thank God we have a Supreme Court that is enabling them to do their jobs. Get all these people out and save our country. This is one of the reasons I believe things are getting better because honestly, it could always gone worse. But for those kids, it couldn't have. And that's what they're putting an end to. That's real justice, guys. That's the most justice. It's all about the kids. And this administration has done more to stop trafficking and child pornography, child abuse than any other administration in history. And that is a fact.